All right, and staying with the story on Bangladesh, we are getting in more breaking inputs. In fact, we are learning that the country is mulling a ban on ISKCON. Top government sources are telling CNN News 18 that discussions are currently underway in Dhaka on a likely ban on ISKCON. An application has in fact been filed in the High Court of Bangladesh seeking a ban on the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that is the ISKCON, and a directive to impose a state of emergency in Chittagong and Rangpur to avoid any untoward situation. This is the big breaking input that we are bringing to you, that Dhaka now mulling on a ban on ISKCON. Let's quickly go across to Siddhant, who brings us these breaking inputs. Siddhant, a very disturbing development considering a body like ISKCON, which has only been asking about, in fact, pushing for minority rights and protecting the Sanatan Dharma in Bangladesh, is now, they are contemplating a ban on such an organization. Only goes on to say where the problem lies.
Correct, Akanksha. And in fact, when you ask, Advisor Yunus that what was the need to throw the previous government and to form a new government in Bangladesh, all he had to say is to protect the rights of the people, to make sure that democracy comes back to the country, and the rule of law is followed. Perhaps none of those promises are now being fulfilled by the current interim government of Bangladesh, Akanksha. And in fact, now we are getting to know that the government of Bangladesh is mulling over banning ISKCON. Now, an application has also been filed in the High Court of Bangladesh seeking a ban on the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that is ISKCON, and a directive to impose a state of emergency in Chittagong and Rangpur to avoid any untoward situation. The court seek for government initiative on the issue. Now, perhaps government has to file a reply in the court. What is their position on ISKCON? At the same time, imposing the emergency in Bangladesh. But a Muslim advocate also got killed in a very unfortunate incident. But at the same time, the government of Bangladesh should also take note of what has happened last night in Chattogram. 3 of the temples were vandalized. The Muslim houses were set ablaze. The Muslim properties were set ablaze by the mobsters. And the organizations, the militant organizations which were banned by Sheikh Hasina, the ban on them have been revoked. And an organization which has helped the people of Bangladesh in COVID times have contributed to the society of Bangladesh, ISKCON, is now government is perhaps thinking.
So that brings me to that very question. Since you are in fact steering the conversation in that direction, what does it speak of the governance of this interim government, given that they are resorting to a state of emergency in Chittagong and Rangpur, and this kind of violence has been going on for months on end? It's complete anarchy without a sort of cracking down on the kind of violent mobsters, these hardliner Islamists who we've been watching going on a rampage on these streets. What does it speak of the interim government's own governance?
Well, Akanksha, it speaks about the mindset of the interim government, the advisors, and also, Akanksha, let's not forget that Yunus doesn't have his own cadre. All he has Khalida Zia's cadre and Jamaat-e-Islami, and in fact, he has to toe their line to remain in power, or perhaps to enjoy that position. And that is exactly where he is, taking Bangladesh. And his decisions, giving more power to army, not listening to the plight of the Hindu community, no justice being given to the Hindu community. Even if their properties are torched or vandalized, nobody is there to listen to them or to arrest the perpetrator. So the morals of the fanatics, the fundamentalists in Bangladesh right now is all-time high, Akanksha. And there is a very, very small example that I would like to give. The other day, when the Hindus were peacefully protesting outside the detective branch, such protests happen in India also. If somebody gets arrested, then in India also such protests do take place. People do ask for the release of somebody, XYZ. But you know what? The Islamists and the fundamentalists took to the streets of Dhaka and had beaten up those Hindu peaceful protesters in Dhaka. That is happening in the capital city. Imagine the situation. And government was fully silent on that particular incident.
Right.
In fact, none of the perpetrators have been arrested. It's been more than 24 hours.
And
Government
on
only
that note,
reacted when...
Make informed decisions with comprehensive analysis on the go.
Strengthen your portfolio with real-time market updates on the go. Create effective strategies with insightful expert opinions on the go.
Grow on the go with CNBC TV 18. Now streaming live 24/7 on YouTube.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV 18 on all of our digital platforms.